Alright, so what we're going to do to check, first we're going to see if the bearing race itself is bent. If it's round, then I want to know, is this thing also round in the actual casting? It could be that the casting is not perfect and the bearings come out fine. It could be that the casting is warping the bearings, but we're really just trying to see that there's no damage to the steering stem, and that's really the easiest things I can measure. I don't have an unlimited supply of tools. So what I do have is a Starrett inside micrometer. It starts at, I want to say 1 inch exactly, 25.4 millimeters. And it screws out, and you can add little extensions to do bigger things, except that I think the inside of this bearing race is already 1 inch. So we're all the way in. We're set on 0, 0, 0, 0, which means in this case 1 inch. And you just add this plus 1 inch. And I got this little tool that came with the Starrett inside micrometer, clamps it so you can fish around and see if things fit. Well, we're real close. Just a little bit of twist and it slides in, so drop it in another 5 thousandths. So we're at 1 inch minus 10 thousandths. Oh, it's totally free and clear. I'm just kind of feeling where it rides on the surface, and then as you rotate it towards straight, it falls in. So I can tell that it's looser side to side than it is front to back. So we got a little bit of oval shape going this way. Yeah, so about 10 thousandths of an inch in that neighborhood, without getting an exact number, between the width and the length of that bushing. So same trick on the bottom, only it's way bigger, so I gotta wind it out. Just eyeball right now. Nope, still too big. You don't have to have a lot of money to have all this gear, just go to a lot of flea markets. So we're bang on front to back, and it's narrower side to side, so it's egg shaped, same way as the top. So we're gonna pop these out. We'll shoot a separate little short on that, and we'll check the same thing once I get the inside cleaned up of just the casting itself, and tell you if it's out of round. Alright, so steering bearing removal. Got this, this is a Park Tool model RT1. I have a couple of these. This is actually for a bicycle steering stem bearing. Works perfectly well, just the same on a motorcycle. So this part springs open and close. You get it behind the bearing, and it gives you something to hit to knock the bearing out. So this might get loud. Alright, so wearing a different shirt, so I'm not doing the walk of shame here. We had to call it and go to dinner on this bearing business after a couple hours. We kept rounding off the edges of the bearing puller, and I resharpened it on the grinder. I made it more square with a file. We can't get because of the angle with this tube being narrow and the bearing being big, we can't get any kind of purchase on the lip. It's actually got an even narrower section right before it widens out for the bearing, so you can't get the right angle to catch the edge there. So we went to Harbor Freight, usual story, all the bearings puller stuff is sold out. Yeah, so I ordered a set of bearing pullers, all different style. They use a screw down the center to spread them out. I'm sure I got one similar to that, but not the right size. It's got the slide hammer, which is great if you have a blind hole, but we don't care because we have access to it. So we'll try maybe the slide hammer if that works or is required. That's about where we're at right now.
Can't really proceed any further till we get those out.
I think we moved it about 1 millimeter. with a couple hours of hammering until my arm hurt. So. And then 4 weeks until bike week. I could probably make 4 weeks. That seems doable.
I think we could do it. Because honestly, once the bearing race is out, then this thing is going to go together really quickly.
Yeah, it should be. Well, I'm going to swap out the factory bearings on the new front end for the aftermarket ones. So had to do one or the other. Like something had to come apart. So why not take both of them apart? Yeah, once we get through that, I'm going to have to salvage a few pieces off the parts we already took off on the table. Probably the clamps, and I have no bar ends, but you know, a handful of things. I want to steal the gaiters off the old forks wherever they went.
Are you reusing your bar ends?
No, well, they're functional. One of them is really ugly. The one that happens to be the cruise control throttle lock. Yeah, we're going to throw a new front wheel on, because it's got a good tire on it right now, and I have a spare, you know. Otherwise, I'd probably try to check the current one. Still going to make sure the current one is round, the one that we took off, and if it's round, I'll put a new tire on it. Yeah, we went 0 for however many attempts we made. It took forever to get this little clip off on the fuel tank.
It was a slow, not very productive day.